unemployed. I'm disabled. I'm living with my mother. I have no income. If it weren't for my mother right now, Sallie Mae would be calling me in a cardboard box on a street in San Francisco. And I still think if that were the case, Sallie Mae would still want their money.
It's a bottomless hole. You could throw $100 bills down this bottomless hole for the rest of your life, and it'll never fill up. It appears to be completely designed that way.
No other generation has had to face $20,000 in student loan debt out of the gate. Graduate students facing $42,000 out of the gate. Corporate irresponsibility is far more to blame than personal irresponsibility on this issue.
Per year, I borrow about $25,000.
Well, I'm only a freshman, so I've only borrowed once, and I borrowed $10,000, which isn't that much for actually this school. A lot of people borrow between about $10,000 and $25,000.
That's per year.
Yeah, per year.
I don't know a lot about how much I owe or what. Like, I know I pay like a little bit every month, but I'm terrible at keeping up on how much that is, because to me it's really overwhelming.
For federally guaranteed student loans, the Truth in Lending Act doesn't apply. So typically, the students upon graduation can't even tell you what their interest rates are, whether their loans are federally guaranteed or not, or often who their lender is, believe it or not.
The Citibank Student Loan Corporation would send me these notices, and they'd say, this is just to notify you of your interest rates. And then they started sending me one saying, this is just to notify you of a change in your interest rates. And it was like watching the odometer on a car.
I remember thinking, what happened to the 9%? Where did this 17% come from? And seeing the number, something like $900-something a month for my private student loan, and immediately realizing that was more than I make in a month.
Student loans barely existed 30, 40 years ago. And today, as a nation, we owe something like $600 billion in student loan debt. And I think that we have to ask ourselves, as a nation at this point, how could we have let this happen?
The original loan amount was $45,974, and this last statement I received on December 16th, 2007 indicates that the outstanding balance is $73,789. So it has accrued just shy of $30,000 in interest.
If you look at it in the roundhouse figure, say, okay, it was $30,000 to go to UNR for 3 years. They now say that I owe about $90,000, so it's tripled. They can seize Social Security, they can seize tax refunds, they can garnish your wages. Like if I get hit crossing the street by a bus and I end up in a wheelchair, they can seize my disability.
I would say to the graduating class of 2008 to be very, very careful in deciding where to go to school and deciding how to borrow their money. And I would encourage them to be very careful about how involved they get their parents, and to consider what would happen if their parents co-sign on these loans and they don't graduate, they don't finish their education, or they do finish their education and they default on their loans.
We have to have doctors, we have to have lawyers, we have to have microbiologists, and we have to have newspaper reporters and public school teachers and professional photographers and all of that. And those are all jobs those are all careers that require a significant amount of education. We're just going to get stupider until there's a change. We're just going to get dumber.